At it again, and we have a clip here from The View. Well, shout out to Daily Caller. That's where this clip is coming from, the YouTube channel. But the clip itself is a clip from an episode of The View. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you know where this one's going. Down the drain real fast and in a hurry. That's where all The View's clips go. But yeah, based on this title, I wanted to check this one out and see how they try to spin this one. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you are new. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel too. And if you would like to help me out even further with the YouTube algorithm, watch this video to the very end. It helps out tremendously. I would greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, let's dive in.
His son had a baby with a woman.
The View defended President Joe Biden for abandoning his grandchild. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, let's hear it.
His son had a baby with a woman. They've fought about it. And he pays for the baby, but he has not embraced the child. So Maureen Dowd is saying it's bad for the child that the president has not acknowledged her. She should be kvetching at the son, whose baby it is. It's not the president's baby.
It shouldn't have been directed to Joe Biden. It should be directed to Hunter Biden. It's 5 children, not 4, Hunter, because this is not Joe Biden's baby. And I think it's very hard for Joe Biden to be a grandfather to the child if his son is not being a father. He can talk to his child. He can advise Hunter.
I don't know why they go out of their way to say 6 grandchildren or 4 kids. When my parents talk about me, they say, we love all our kids. We love our grandbabies. I've never seen them numerically repeat over and over. I like 3 kids. I like 4 this. I like 6 this. I like...
When you start talking about people's families and what they're doing, I find it unnecessary.
Really? Oh, man. The mental gymnastics that they are trying to pull off here because it's the Bidens. Oh, well, it's not Joe's daughter or child. It's not Joe's child. But they always put a number on how many grandkids he has. Always put a number on it. And they leave out one. Kind of convenient how that works. And yes, it is true. It's not Joe's child. It's his grandkid. Okay? And that grandkid should still be acknowledged. Not just with a simple check. Okay? But should be acknowledged by the sitting president of the United States. I don't care if your son is a deadbeat. That doesn't mean that you should be a deadbeat right behind him. Never mind. I almost went off the deep end. Whoa. Let's reel it back in here. Ah, goodness gracious. Sorry. I'm going to start calling some folks some names there. Woo. 2 wrongs don't make a right. We've all heard that saying before. Apparently, Joe hasn't. Just because your son, I still want to just yell out all types of names. Just because your son isn't doing the right thing doesn't mean that you shouldn't do the right thing either. Make sense? I think that makes perfect sense. But according to The View, that makes no sense at all. Of course.
I like 3 kids. I like 4 this. I like 6 this. I like...
When you start talking about people's families and what they're doing, I find it unnecessary. This is not anybody's business. Nobody needed to know about this.
No. Apparently, this was sort of...
Of course. Now, remember, let's all remember that she said that. So when Uncle Trump is back in office, right, in 2025, when he is inaugurated and he's back in office, remember that she said that. And remember that they're defending this degeneracy. So when anything possibly happens, I'm not saying it will, but if anything happens when Trump's back in office, we can run this clip back and call out her hypocrisy. Just saying. Let's jump back in.
It's not anybody's business. Nobody needed to know about this.
No. Apparently, this was sort of more of a one-night stand. It wasn't like they had a relationship. He was in the throes of addiction when this woman became pregnant. And she is posting pictures of the baby, like with an Air Force One cap and at the Jefferson Memorial. And so she is sort of trying to
I don't know, wedge herself into the family, and I don't think that's the right way to do it.
The Hunter Biden story, the scandal.
You don't think it's the right thing to do to try to have your child involved with its dad's family? What? What in the actual frick are we talking about here? I'm going to censor myself. What are we talking? It's bad for the mother of a child to want the child to be involved in the dad's family's lives. That's a bad thing. To try to wedge her child into this situation because they clearly want to distance themselves. So she's going to wedge herself in. That's a bad thing? In what world? Are we living on Mars? Did Elon ship us all, teleport us all to Mars or something? Are we on a different planet? Are we on Mother Earth still? The is going on here? I'm just
to, I don't know, wedge herself into the family, and I don't think that's the right way to do it.
The Hunter Biden story, the scandal, the this, the that, it's also the story of a father's love. And Joe Biden has never and will never give up on his son Hunter, and will never treat him lesser than. And so he is a father first. Take it or leave it.
So Axios interviewed.
They also defended his reported rough temper towards former aides.
Current and former aides of President Biden who say in private Biden has a rough temper. And Fox host Lisa Kennedy reacted. Clip, please.
Swearing at people, it's a quirk. Kind of turned me on when I heard that the president gets angry and volatile. I'm not going to lie.
She's turned on by Biden's anger. I am too. I like it.
You like it?
I do.
Well, you have said that before.
I like that. I mean, he's such a mild-mannered, sweet guy.
But you know he's not. We've heard, listen, he has dropped more F-bombs than I have.
Uncle Joe has
over the years.
Uncle Joe has done that.
I mean, over the years, we've heard him off mic say stuff. I mean, he's a regular guy. I don't know what.
So, bombshell. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I'm playing against y'all can just hear.
Over the years, we've heard him off mic say stuff. I mean, he's a regular guy. I don't know.
Regular guy. So when Uncle Trump says, you know, what he says, he's off the walls and he's Looney Tunes and he's crazy and he needs to be out of office. But when Joe says and drops the F-bomb and this bomb and he's yelling at aides and being a little disrespectful, it's sexy, it's a turn on, and he's just a regular guy. Do y'all see what I see? I see some hypocrisy here. Oh, man. My goodness. You just can't make this stuff up. They just told on themselves. They just snitched on themselves. Goodness gracious.
What she's talking about.
Well,
she doesn't like this, she doesn't like that.
I don't think it's flipping that it's like anger management, and he needs anger management. He just blows off steam. It's white male privilege, it's called.
Imagine waking up being President Biden. You're too old still. The economy sucks. The border's open. Your son's a mess. What about that grandchild you don't claim? He broke royal protocol with King Charles. Every way he turns, he does something wrong. He is allowed to get mad.
Why is it happening?
Oh. He's allowed to get angry. So is Uncle Trump allowed to get angry? Because at every turn, even before he took office, he was attacked over and over and over and over and over again. And he's still being attacked, even though he's not even in office. He was attacked before he got in office. He was attacked when he was in office. And now he's not even in office and he's still being attacked. So is he allowed to be angry too? Let me guess. Of course not, because he's Uncle Trump. He's a Republican, and Republicans are not allowed to do what Democrats are allowed to do. It's rules for thee and no rules for me. Take note of what we are witnessing here. Hypocrisy at its absolute finest. At its absolute finest. I mean, this angers me. This really does anger me.
Happening. People are only blaming the Biden administration. This is a...
Here, The View did not want the public to blame President Biden for inflation. Oh, my goodness. What the fuck?
Is allowed to get mad.
Why is it happening? People are only blaming the Biden administration. This is a global phenomenon. There are reasons why our inflation rate is at 9.1%. If you look at all, the economies around the world, 60% of the economies around the world have inflation rates that are really, really high. And that is because of
60%. And we are supposed to be the leader of the free world. The leaders. You know what leaders do? Goodness gracious. I bet she doesn't.
The global pandemic. You have the war in Ukraine. Yeah. China has slowed down its production, climate change. And so there are all these factors that are leading to the fact that we have this inflation, and it's not Joe Biden.
Right.
It is Joe Biden and his administration. It's exactly what it is. America is big enough and strong enough and can produce enough to insulate itself from a lot of the things going on in the world. So I don't want to hear none of that BS. None of it. None of it. It's Joe's fault. It's Joe's fault. If Joe hadn't made the dumb decisions that he's been making, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in today. We wouldn't be. Once again, America is big enough, strong enough, and can produce enough goods and services to insulate ourselves away from a lot of the things going on in the rest of the world. You know, I was talking with, I don't remember where they were from, some of my international family subscribers here on YouTube. And some folks were mentioning, I forgot what video it was. It was a while back. But a lot of people were talking about how people in the rest of the world watch American news. And I just found that fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Because that was something that I had never really thought about. Like people in the other parts of the world, like the UK, watch American news. Like it's on their television. It's incredible. Because we don't get UK news on our television. Oh, we couldn't give two shits about the UK. What you mean? What you mean? So, and I say that to say the world kind of looks at America as the leader, right? Not so much anymore. I mean, we kind of, since Sleepy Joe took office, that's been downhill. But historically, right, we've been the leaders. So much so that other people are watching our news. They're watching what's going on in the U.S. and they don't even live here. They live across an ocean. We don't know what's going on over there, but they know what's happening over here, though. That's for sure. So it just goes to show that we should be the leaders. And people look to us, right? I mean, this stuff is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. I don't need to repeat myself. Do I? We can insulate ourselves from a lot of the things going on in the world. Yes, we're still on the same planet, so there are some things and situations and circumstances that would and could affect us that are going on in the world because we all live on the same planet, of course. But we can insulate ourselves from a lot of it. And this administration has just chosen not to. And that's why, come 2024, like Nancy Pelosi recently, right, not very long ago, they will be, in the words of the great Uncle Trump, you're fired. Fired. Get them out of here, coach. Get them out of there. They'll all be fired and thrown in jail. Let the church say amen. Peace and love, family. I'm out.